A high-stakes gambler, Jack Wolf, Jason Statham, is lured into one final deadly game where the stakes aren't just money, but his life. As he faces ruthless opponents, a corrupt casino king and a dangerous past he can't outrun, Jack must outplay them all in a battle of wits, betrayal, and survival. In this game, the winner takes everything, and the loser pays the ultimate price. The underground casino was alive with the sound of shuffling cards, murmured conversations, and the distant clinking of whiskey glasses. Jack Wolf stepped inside, his sharp eyes scanning the room. He was dressed in a tailored black suit, his presence commanding attention. Some gamblers glanced at him, recognition flashing in their eyes. Others, unaware of who he was, simply felt the shift in the room's energy. Jack moved forward, flipping a poker chip between his fingers, his face unreadable. He wasn't here to make friends. He was here for one last game. A waitress offered him a drink, but he waved her off. He didn't drink before the game, not tonight. He had received an invitation, a challenge, one final high-stakes match against Victor Salazar, a ruthless billionaire who ran the city's underground gambling empire. Jack had walked away from this world years ago, but some debts couldn't be ignored. His brother had vanished in this game, and now he was about to find out why. He took a seat at the main poker table across from Victor. The man was dressed in a pristine white tuxedo, a smirk playing on his lips. He held a cigar lazily between his fingers, eyes gleaming with amusement. Around them sat other dangerous players, men who weren't here for the thrill of the game, but for power. "You came," Victor said, his voice smooth, controlled. "I was starting to think you'd lost your edge." Jack didn't reply. He simply leaned forward, tapping his fingers on the table. The dealer shuffled the deck, the atmosphere thick with tension. Cards were dealt. The game had begun. Jack studied his cards, his expression unreadable. Years of experience had taught him that poker wasn't about luck. It was about control, reading the room, predicting the opponent's next move before they even made it. Victor watched him closely, his smirk never fading. Jack knew this was more than just a game of cards. This was a battle of dominance. As the game progressed, stacks of cash piled higher. Jack played smart, never revealing too much, never allowing his emotions to surface. The other players were eliminated one by one until only he and Victor remained. A silence fell over the casino. The final hand was dealt. Jack lifted his cards, a slow smirk playing at the corner of his lips. Victor's eyes narrowed. He knew Jack had something dangerous. But before the final bet could be placed, the unexpected happened. A gunshot rang through the air. One of the players slumped forward, blood pooling across the green felt table. Chaos erupted. Security guards drew their weapons, shouting orders. Jack barely flinched. He had expected something like this. Victor, however, remained seated, watching Jack with cold amusement. Jack's fingers twitched toward his gun, hidden beneath his suit jacket. He didn't need to use it. Not yet. He simply stood slowly as the room emptied around them. "Looks like the game is over," Victor mused, swirling the whiskey in his glass. Jack stared at him. "Not yet." The two men held each other's gaze, a silent war waged between them. Jack turned and walked away, pushing past the panic-stricken gamblers. He needed answers, and he knew exactly where to find them. Outside, the city lights reflected off the rain-soaked pavement. Jack pulled out his phone and dialed. The call went straight to voicemail. He cursed under his breath. Someone was making sure he couldn't reach his contacts. He needed to move fast. Minutes later, he was inside an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. The air was thick with dust, the only sound the faint hum of a flickering overhead light. A woman stepped from the shadows. Illuina, dark-haired, emerald-eyed, and dangerous in ways most men never saw coming. She had been Jack's past, a past he had tried to forget. But now, she was standing in front of him, holding a blood-stained letter. "You're in over your head," she said. Jack snatched the letter from her hand. It was his brother's handwriting. "They won't let me leave. Don't trust anyone." Jack's grip on the paper tightened. He looked up at Elena, his jaw clenched. "Where is he?" She hesitated, her gaze shifting toward the warehouse doors. "Victor never plays fair. Your brother, he wasn't just another player. He knew something that could take Victor down." Jack exhaled slowly, rage simmering beneath his skin. "Then I need to finish what he started." Elena placed a hand on his arm, stopping him. "This isn't just about money, Jack. This is about survival." Jack pulled away. That's what I do best. The next night, he returned to the casino, but this time he wasn't there to play. He was there to end it. He moved through the crowd, his steps controlled, his expression cold. Victor was in his usual spot, sipping a drink, surrounded by armed guards. Jack approached the table, sliding into his chair as if nothing had happened. The night before, Victor raised an eyebrow. "Back for more?" Jack didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out his brother's letter, placing it on the table. Victor's smirk vanished. "You should have walked away, Wolf," Victor said, his voice laced with warning. Jack leaned in slightly. "So should you." The tension was electric. Then, in a single swift motion, Jack flipped the table, sending cash and poker chips flying. Gunshots erupted as security guards moved in, but Jack was faster. He took down the first guard with a brutal strike to the throat, disarmed another in a fluid motion, and sent a third crashing through the bar with a perfectly timed kick. The casino erupted into chaos. Jack dodged bullets, weaving through the chaos like a predator in the wild. He grabbed a fallen gun, turning it on Victor's remaining men. They dropped one by one. Victor, realizing he had lost, tried to slip away, but Jack was on him in seconds. He slammed the billionaire against the bar, gripping the front of his pristine tuxedo. "Where is he?" Jack growled. Victor chuckled, blood staining his teeth. "He's here too late." Jack's fist connected with his jaw. Victor slumped to the floor, dazed. Sirens wailed in the distance. Jack knew he had seconds before the authorities arrived. He turned to Elena, who had appeared by his side. "We need to go," she said. Jack exhaled, running a hand over his face. He had his answer. His brother was gone. But Victor's empire? It wouldn't survive the night. As they walked away, the neon lights of the casino flickered behind them. Flames licked at the building's edges, a symbol of everything Jack had burned to the ground. He stopped at the edge of the street, looking back one last time. Elena studied him. "It's over." Jack let out a quiet laugh, shaking his head. "No, it never is." With that, he disappeared into the night, a single poker chip rolling from his fingers onto the wet pavement. The game was never really over.